There are three things a gay always needs.
Craziest thing happened to me today.
We gotta know the tea. We gotta keep the tea. We gotta be the best friend.
Guess who I saw on the dating app the other day?
I'm so glad that phones cannot talk, because if my phone could talk, the secrets that it would tell.
Wow, I really was blessed with good looks. Like, look at me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Good Day Gay. I'm Russell Ray along with my co-host Paulie V. Paulie V. Why do I always say that up?
I don't know, and I don't know why. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Paulie V, what up, Paulie V? How is your week going?
My week has been busy. Like, I knew that, so the Adelaide Fringe Festival has just started.
Okay.
I always knew that because, like you guys know, my brother has a food truck called the Filipino Project. If you're in South Australia, if you're in Adelaide, please come and support us. We're in Gluttony at the Adelaide Fringe. But I knew that when the Fringe Festival started, my weeks would be crazy. Like, yeah. So I'm an old man these days, Russ. Like, I can't do the things that I used to do. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? I'm always an old man, so my back hurts.
But we're
Look,
here.
I was hip thrusting at the gym, threw out my back the other day. It was a whole thing. Like, Lord, is this what your 30s is about?
Hip
I
thrusts are the
cannot.
best. Hip thrust is the best, like, exercise though. Like, it really
You to
is.
get them cakes. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have not followed us yet, this is your first time around. Welcome to Good Day Gay Podcast, where we talk about the millennial experience, the gay-lenial experience, all around the experience of being in your 30s, and all the things and all the messiness that we've had to gone through to get to where we're at today. But you know what? We're on top all day, every day. And today we're talking about chosen family, friends who
Yes.
become everything. Okay. Right off the bat, I want to let y'all know. Okay, so there's two different types of chosen family, right? So the first one is your family abandon you, your DNA genetically related family abandon you because you came out, you're either bisexual or they just don't agree with the way you live your lifestyle. So therefore you've had to go and you've had to find secondary resources as family. The second type of chosen family is family that you've specifically chosen that you can be your authentic self with, including, for me, it'd be Paul, it would be Humby, and it would be Marsha, just to name a few. I can name about four other ones, but those are just like the three that pop up off the top of my head right now, because I could legitimately tell you all anything, and like the most random thing could fly out of my mouth, and you're never gonna judge me for it. And that's what I get a lot with. So like my chosen family are I, because of course I do have a really close bond with my family still. It's a chosen family that I can just be my authentic self with. It's a level deeper than friendship. Oh, there's a third one that I forgot to mention that you actually brought up, which is when you move from your original location of being born and raised, where your friends and families are at, moving to either a different country, a different side of your own country, or just a different area where you're iced out by yourself. So you have to create a safe space of surroundings of friends and family that become family.
Yes. And I'm glad that you, I guess, defined those types of chosen family, because when I was thinking about this topic, like, I love this topic and I think it's so important to have a chosen family and to have a community and to have that safe space that you can go to. And I kept thinking to myself, like, do I have a chosen family? But I think the way that you put it just then about people that you can be unapologetically yourself with, I think that's my type of chosen family for sure. Because, you know, my family, I guess I'm lucky. Like, it took some time for my family to accept that I was gay, but you know, they accept me for who I am now. And yeah, so when I thought of chosen family, I was like, do I have like that family away from family? But I think at the end of the day, I've got like those really, really close friends that I just look at and I just go, I fucking love you guys so much. Like, that's just, yeah, that's my type of chosen family. And yeah, you guys know who you are. I don't have to list y'all.
No, list them. Do it. I want to know the tea. I want to know who you're. Just kidding.
I mean, I can
like
list them. So like,
just give me three. Give me three. Give them a little shout out. This is what the podcast is about.
I feel like, okay, so I know that my chosen family, like my best friend Leah, we practically grew up together. Like I used to go to her house when I was young. Leah was probably one of the first times that I realized that I, you know, was a little gay boy, because she would have Barbies and stuff at her house, and I would play with her Barbies. And yeah, this is so funny. I don't remember this, but Leah's mum, like my auntie, she used to always say like, hello bakla po, which bakla in Tagalog means like gay. And so like, I'll just be like this boy rocking up to their house, like wanting to eat chicken nuggets. And then my auntie, like Leah's mom's just like, hi bakla po. Like,
wait, did she call you that before you came out?
Yeah, but like a lot of like,
you know what?
Like when I really think about it, like a lot of my aunties and uncles literally called me Buckler like before I came out, and I was like, you know, that's just, I guess, the difficulties of being a gay Filipino. You're like getting called a Buckler, but at the same time, you're like, the church doesn't approve of this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's hilarious.
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
Two sides.
I can 100% relate to that, because you know we already talked about this. Being Filipino and being Mexican are basically one and the same, and it's the same thing. The language is basically the same.
But I guess like, yeah, it's so true. Like Filipinos really are the Latin Asians. But I just want to also shout out to like, I've got like I'm really spilling the tea here. No, we've got to like, I'm into, I guess, group chats. Do you know what I mean? So I've got one group chat, which I mentioned last week, the Friendship Fuck group. Like they're literally like my sisters. So they are my chosen family. What am I saying? I don't have chosen family. I do have chosen family. So the Friendship Fuck girls, like they're my girls. They're, you know, we're going to Mardi Gras together next week. I'm so excited to go with them. And then the other group chat that I've got is called the Shade Room, which I love that. The group chat, it's like literally the Shade Room, and we would just like post shady comments in that to be like, did you see so-and-so's Instagram the other day? And then the group chat would just be like, blah, blow up. But
I love a little shady group chat. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like we're being
dropping
mean.
Actual tea in there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not being mean. We're not like, you know, have a little Mean Girls burn book moment. Like, it's facts in that group. And all my Shade Room girls, they know, like, we're just talking the facts. So that's my chosen family. Other than that, I think chosen family to me as well is, and you can probably relate to this, you know how like, so Filipino culture, you know, this person isn't your blood relative, but they're your cousin. Do you know what I mean? Like you grew up together.
Oh my gosh. I was just going to say that. Like, do you have any aunties that are not actually your aunties, but it's like your parents' best friends that you call auntie?
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, like one of my sister's best friends, she is my sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, because, well, her parents are my godparents, but she's like literally my sister. Like I can call on her whenever I need. I can talk to her the way that I talk to my sister. Like, and then I've got one of my best friends growing up. He's like my cousin. Do you know what I mean? We basically grew up together. Like, yeah. Those family members that aren't really your family, but I think that's just Filipino, you know, like everyone's auntie. Even last night when I was working the food truck, like all the aunties are like pulling out cash and I'm just like, sorry, tita, no cash here. Like, and they're like, like pulling the cash back.
When I'm working as well, I will occasionally call somebody auntie. I'm like, oh, like, or I call them tia. I'm like, hey, tia, did you, you know, just have that conversation? I'm like, why did I say that? I was so compelled to say it. Or like, even if there's like especially when I'm hosting, if there's an older, you know, individual in the crowd, I might call them Nana.
Yeah.
Who brought you out tonight, Nana? You know, and I'll go have this conversation with them. Like, I won't even ask them their name. So like, I feel like it's a form of endearment, obviously, from us.
And you know what I'm realizing? Like, it's actually so similar because like tia, like, and then in Tagalog, tita, like tio, tito, and then like, what did you just say just then? Nana?
Nana.
Yeah, so we
It's
having
like
like
granny.
yeah, in the Philippines we have like nanay, which is your like your babysitter. Nanay, like hello nanay, like oh my gosh. Chosen family.
Yeah, be like, Nana, Nana, who brought you out here tonight? Why are they trying to corrupt you tonight, Nana? You know, like it's just it's I don't know. It's just something that like is within our culture. I guess
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that we take and we just run with it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I've called girl, let me tell you, my actual blood cousin like 2 months ago was like, can you explain something to me? How are we related to this person that we call cousin? I'm like, oh, and I'm
They're
like,
not
let me
your
break it down
cousin.
for you. Like, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
this,
yeah.
like, they're best friends with my parents growing up, and like we grew up together, so we were considered cousins, and then like then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
introduced them
yeah.
to you. Like, we all kind of introduced to each other, and then we all grew up together, went to school together, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cousin, 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 cousin. Um, but
Yeah.
I want to go off on a tangent just for a second. Remember
No, do
back in
it.
the day, I don't know if it was like this in Australia, but in the States, like, oh Lord,
Oh,
everybody's cousin was in Coach Carter. Everybody's cousin was a cousin of a movie star and was a cousin of and was in the movie Step Up. And everybody's cousin was a background dancer for Paula Deanda. And I'm like, your cousin, you ain't cousins. You don't even know this person.
yeah,
Swear.
no,
Or
that's
my brother
nah.
was the backup actor in Coach Carter. Like, no, he wasn't, girl. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, that I don't think that's an Australian thing, not for sure, but it's definitely. Oh, there's an ambulance outside. Are you okay? Sorry, I didn't. I'm so
Are
distracted
you okay,
right now.
Auntie?
Tita, are you okay? Um, no, but I guess Filipino culture is the second that a celebrity has been identified as a Filipino, the Filipinos are on that. Like Nicole Scherzinger, Olivia Rodrigo, Cassie, like anytime a Filipino is like a celebrity has like the tiniest amount of Filipino blood in them, like even if it's like a 1% Filipino blood, every Filipino is like, oh, you know she's Filipino? Like so yeah, I don't have like friends that say, blah 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 was my cousin, but at the end of the day, like Nicole Scherzinger, she's my cousin because she's Filipino, I'm Filipino, like that's how it works.
Oh my gosh. I did not know Olivia Rodrigo was Filipino until
Yeah, girl. Sweetie
like
as
right
well.
around
Sweetie.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Sweetie.
Sweetie is half Filipino, and like they literally call her like Ate Sweetie. Like that was so filler. Like Ate Sweetie. Because
I
Ate's like
knew
older sister. So they literally
yeah, yeah,
call her
yeah.
Ate, like, yes, Ate. Like
I know Sweetie is related to Gabrielle Union, but I
yeah,
didn't know
she
about
is.
the whole
Which
Filipino side. But like we are honestly going on a tangent. We are
we are,
we
we
are
are.
talking
Oh my
about just
gosh.
family at this point.
I know, and I
Uh
was literally about to take this tangent to like rice as well because Sweetie always talks about how she loves rice. She's like, you gotta eat rice with that, and she's eating the rice with like her nails. Like she's literally eating like kamayan, like she's doing kamayan, which is like eating with your hands with her nails. And I'm just like, yes, girl, pop off.
I cannot. Well, we do want to talk about why is chosen family important to the queer community. And
Yes.
obviously like running this back, the queer community was ostracized a lot by the regular
Mm,
community, surrounding communities that they were
mm,
that they
mm.
grew up in, and a lot
Yep.
of the I don't know where your location would be in Australia, but in the United States, New York was the place to go for queer people to live their authentic selves. It still is until this day. You can live
Yeah.
authentically through yourself because it's a community that thrives on networking and relationships opposed to being born and raised there in order to
Yeah.
uplift each other. So you have a lot of chosen family in New York City because a lot of them are either from different countries or they're just from
Yeah.
a different point in the States in general.
Yeah, and I would say that that location in Australia, I always think that Melbourne is the New York of Australia.
Mm.
So I know the times that I go to Melbourne, and that's why I, want to move to Melbourne, just because it just has that sense of community and family throughout the city. Like you can go out and you'll meet someone. Sydney also has that vibe where you can be yourself, but a lot of people that live in Sydney do say it's a little bit clicky. Like if you're not a certain way, then people, don't really give you the time. That's why I say Sydney is the LA of Australia. Whereas, yeah, New York is I just read all the LA girls. I'm so sorry. Cancelled.
That is hilarious. Look, let me tell you, I just had to go to Austin, Texas, and
I love Austin.
Girl, Austin is just Los Angeles of the South, is what that is. It was like going from West Hollywood to West Hollywood. Okay, from LA to LA, from LA to LA to the South. That's really what Austin is. Everyone who was in Los Angeles who might not necessarily afford Los Angeles or might be financially savvy, so they move to Austin at the point where they can get property and houses.
Yeah.
So then they basically Los Angeles transplanted to Austin, Texas, and even celebrities
happened,
like,
isn't it? Yeah,
Sandra
that's
Bullock
what's happened. Like California
yes.
California's moved to Texas. Isn't that a whole thing?
Yes. Sandra Bullock has mentioned it because she's been there for years, and she's like, if you're moving to Austin, Texas, do not come in and ruin the culture that we have here.
I love that.
Because sometimes as gays we can get a little messy. We just PV was like Austin, the private place to go to for gays in Mexico until COVID hit, and then it was like Circuit City Central. And it's like another roided gay out here, like with a 15-pack. And it's like, girl, chill. We know you want HGH.
But yeah, Austin is a gay city. But I guess going back to what you were talking about like why is it so important to have a chosen family, like especially in the queer community, I think, well, take away your sexuality, take away your gender. At the end of the day, like a support system is important, if that makes sense. So I think when you have people in your life that come from similar experiences and come from similar parts of life, then you're able to relate to that and you're able to build that support system. And it's good to have that connection with people. It makes you feel like a human being, right? Like a loved human being, like you belong. But
why is chosen family important to you personally? Like, what experiences have you capitalized on from chosen family opposed to just your normal family?
I think for me, it's definitely what you talked about, which we've now defined as my sense of chosen family, which is to be able to feel authentically myself. So I know for me, like I think I've said this on the podcast before where like I've learned how to just be one of the boys. Do you know what I mean? Like your boys, like I just learned how to be one of those boys so I can assimilate with the gym bros and I can, make friends with like straight guys. But at the end of the day, there are things that I guess hetero people won't understand the experiences of queer people, if that makes sense. And it does make it difficult to relate, I guess, as a queer person or as a gay person coming to, bringing my experiences to someone that's hetero that might not be very open to it or may not be an ally or might say they're an ally, but in reality, they're not. Like it makes it hard to relate, if that makes sense. So for me, it's important that I have people in my life that can, that are accepting of like who I am and that are on board with who I am and that want to be a part of that because they love me, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if it's the same for you, but yeah, in terms of why chosen family is important for you. Oh my gosh,
I feel like my chosen family, we're almost like pieced together. We're like not misfits, but we're all rough around the edges. Like there's one friend who actually, I think she logged in on Instagram Live, Tiffany. Tiffany, let me tell you, I haven't personally, but Tiffany has been through about 15 phone numbers since I've known her. And I will chase that girl down every single chance I get. But we're all rough around the edges, which is why we cling to each other, because we understand like the dysfunction, right? Like you don't know dysfunction unless you've lived in a house with two of your siblings and their kids, or like another sibling and their kids, and then an in-law, and like it is chaos. And it's like, oh my God. Like I remember telling my mom for the longest time, I just want to be a normal family. I just want to be like a normal, like American family. Mom was like, what the hell
Oh,
is that
that's
supposed to mean?
hilarious. Yeah,
Right. And
yeah,
I'm like,
I can
people that
relate.
have like a Christmas tree with presents under it, that like everyone comes from their house to show up for Christmas. Like we're all waking up to each other and we already want to beat each other up. Like, why are we celebrating Christmas?
Can I just quickly add to that? For me, it was like, seeing all the Australian people like with canned spaghetti and like those Lunchables for lunch. And I used to be like to my mom,
Like Chef
Mom,
Boyardee.
yes, and I would just be like, Mom, I want canned spaghetti for lunch. And then the second my mom bought me canned spaghetti for lunch, I was like, I do not want this for lunch anymore. Like, why do all the white people in my school just want this for lunch? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I was trying to be nice about it by saying American people, but that is hilarious that you say that, because my mom, my mom never gave in. Okay, yeah, you can get it. I was like, what my version of that was, I wanted Gushers and Fruit by the Foot, because all these kids growing up had Gushers and Fruit by the Foot. But now that I got adult money, I have that. But my mom back in the day was like, are you going to get that when you can get these fruit roll-up treats?
Yeah.
And you can get 180 instead of getting 20 in a box for the same price. Break it down. And so as the age of like 8 or 9, I had to learn how to break down the price per unit, because my mom was like, no, this stretch. You're not gonna waste this money on no Gushers. And I'm like, I really want the Gushers. And then we used to, what else did we used to get? Oh, back to the chosen family thing. I keep getting on a tangent.
Yes.
Back to the chosen family though, but also it's important because my friend Garrett, he's Swedish. He's from Sweden, and his family's on the East Coast, and his sisters are still in Sweden. So every year, Garrett is over for Thanksgiving, Christmas, like major holidays. If he's not traveling home, he's with us, and like my family has accepted him as one of our own. Like, you mess with Garrett, you mess with us. You know what I mean? And like 9 times out of 10, Garrett is at my mom's house before I'm at my mom's house for the holidays. And my mom's already getting lit with Garrett on 2 bottles of red wine, because Garrett is like, Garrett wine. Is a wino. Like, he is like bougie about his wines. He knows about the sugars. He knows about the contents. He knows that certain red wine just supposed to chill for 15 minutes before it's supposed to be served. Like, he knows all of this stuff. And there was one time I showed up and I'm like, Mom, are you lit? And she's like, oh, honey, Garrett's been here for an hour and a half. We're already on a second bottle of wine. Good. Get that turkey out of the oven. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But like, chosen family is also important for that reason, is as generationally for myself, as extended family members, like my grandmother's siblings, and you know, as everyone starts to build their own lives, as they also start to branch out on their trees, your family, if you don't have, you know, the 10, 13 kids that my great grandmother had, you're not having those big family functions anymore. So there's these other elements that come together that bring people in, like Garrett, or like Humby, for example, that was on for the Grinder Chronicles. If y'all haven't watched that or listened to it, go back on Spotify and listen to it, because that will make you
need
gag.
to. Exactly, you need to.
You'll be gagged. The girls and Humby, like, small family as well, and his brothers have their own families. So at the end of the night, he usually kind of makes his way over to our house for the holidays. And like, if I'm planning anything, the first thing my mom or my sisters will ask is, did you call Humby and let him know that this is going on? Or like, did you let Garrett know that this is going on? And so, you know, extended family is important for that reason as well, because you can not only be your authentic lows and the dysfunction that we also wanted as children. Now as adults, we're like, I need more dysfunction than I do like the normalcy. Like, I don't want to be at a boring table carving a turkey. Like, no, girl, hit the buffet that we just set up over there in the island and come make your way to the table while we all talk smack about you and why you got a big forehead, or why you're on your daddy and your 4th plate. Okay.
I think like, and like what you speak about then, like in terms of building on like what you grew up with, it just makes me think of, like, I was 16, 17 years old when my brother and sister, they were going out, and they would always have like pre-drinks at the house. So all of my brother and sister's friends would come to the house. All of my cousins would come to the house. They would have pre-drinks and I would just hang out with them. They would go to town and I would go to bed. But then like my cousins and like basically my cousins, and that includes non-related cousins and related cousins, would all sleep over, and then the next morning we would all have breakfast together. My dad would cook like lugao, which is like the rice porridge, because he's like, this is the best hangover cure. And you know, like you grow up with that. Yes, and you grow up with that. But then these days now, you know, it's like me and my brother, we live in South Australia where the rest of my family live in Darwin, but some of my cousins live here as well. So we make that effort like every Christmas, every holiday, every birthday to just be like, hey, we're having a gathering, like all of that kind of stuff. And even my friends like who have migrated here from other countries, from Brazil, like they do the same thing. Like they invite me to their family gatherings and they'll do like their Brazilian traditions. Like, yeah, it's amazing. And well, I didn't even know what I knew what I was about to say.
I was like, you're
that, like,
girl.
I'm just thinking of like Kourtney Kardashian pretending to like freeze on Australian television, but in the background, like the trees are swaying and she's pretending to freeze. Like that was that moment. Yeah, like in terms of I know for me, like it's important for me to like have really close friends and friends that I can call family, but I think I find myself relating to these days. I found myself relating to people from a lot of like Latin cultures because, you know, like you and I have said, like Latin culture and Filipino culture, there's a lot of similarities there. Like even Asian culture as well, like other people from other Asian countries. Like I find myself relating to them because they have that sense of like family and a sense of warmth that that family is revolved around, if that makes sense.
Yes. Also, I was reading up on chosen family, and it's important not only just for the LGBTQ community, but just in general. If you have a niche personality, it's important because science has backed it, showing that when you build your own support system, your mental health and your life expectancy is set to be longer, which is why the gays still be going out to the circuit parties at 65. Okay, I know a couple of them. I'm like, what is happening? Like, you really, like, what? Look, let me just tell you.
I kind of want to be that gay, to be honest. Like, I kind of want to be that gay.
I want to be rich in my mansion, having circuit parties at my own house with my pool, and I want to DJ in the corner. And then I'm gonna say, y'all can make your way to the bars. I'm going to bed.
And then there's me in your house, like still dancing.
I'm like, go to bed, Paul. Paul, put your slippers on and go upstairs.
And I'm like, fine, I'm gonna dance in my room.
You're like the little monster from Monsters University that's trying to get Sully to dance, and you're in the corner, and I'm Sully just like, and then like eventually you get me to come out, and I'm like,
just, that's me.
But also we're a little bit about halfway through the episode right now. I just want to take a moment to pause. If this is the first time you're joining Good Day Gay, welcome, Gaylennials, as we are here to talk about your personal experiences. Yes, we are getting your notes. Yes, we are getting your emails. We actually were reached out to someone in Sydney that wants to partake in our podcast coming soon. So we actually might have some LGBTQ artists that will be featured on this upcoming podcast. But it is important that you don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We are also on YouTube if you're a visual listener like myself and you need to see the dysfunction that is going on in the background, or when our televisions or our laptops and microphones freeze and you want to take a screenshot of our face looking dumb. We are here for you. If you can get us to 100,000 followers on Good Day Gay podcast, Paul is going to move to New York, and I'm going to join him, and we are going to have a penthouse in the city, and then we will be doing live tours coming to a city near you, starting in New York, working our way around the globe into the major gay cities. That is the manifestation for this podcast. But you must like, share, subscribe. Share it to your best friends. Tag your best friend in the comments below. And who knows? Send us a video or two. We might feature you on the podcast. Send us a video to our DMs on Good Day Gay. Yes, we do check our request folder. We really do.
We do. I think that's the thing about that's the thing about our podcast, right? Like, you and I are the ones that are talking, and you and I are the ones that are bringing to light the conversation, but we want to have the conversation with you guys. We want you guys to join in. If you want to feature on the podcast, we want you guys to be on the podcast. We want to have a chat with you live. We want you on the podcast. We want your stories on the podcast.
There's a couple people who I want to have on the podcast, and I'm going to call them out right now. One is randomly Ronnie Jr. He is he is the radio TV personality. Like, let me tell you, this man has been going on his career for like 25 years. He's been on MTV. He's been on Mundos. Wow. He's worked with like major artists, Jenny Rivera. He's interviewed Beyonce. He is Lord, when I tell you, when me and this man go out together, we are always turning up. Like,
I want him to interview
between California and New York. When me and Ronnie go out, we are not home until 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, we're not going to bed until 3 in the morning with Ronnie. And Ronnie is a time. Let me tell you. So I do podcast. Some of the next episodes that we're going to be having coming up are going to be, I just added this to the grid. I haven't sent it to you yet, so surprise. We are going to talk about Grindr once again and why it is going downhill and the new place and where you're going to find your new hookups, because these ads are killing the community. No one wants to see them. Nobody wants to see the random person with a blanket trying to rescue their child on their Grindr profile. It's a video game to play to save. It is. You know what I'm talking about?
I was kind of like, oh my God, what are you talking about?
But and the other one is like a king that's next to some steel nails that, like, if you don't move the blocks fast enough on Candy Crush, it's gonna squish it against the wall. Like, what?
It actually makes me happy where sometimes the ad he lives in the ad. You know how sometimes he makes it through this course? I'm like, yes, King, you made it, King. And then the next time, and then the next time he's like on the ads, he dies, and I'm like, girl, you just had to put the block there so that I was like, this King, why are you
that
so
poor
stupid,
lady,
King?
I wonder, that poor lady and her child that is always out in the cold, and then the fire always blows out, and she is just, homeless.
Oh my gosh!
Lord,
okay.
why are you doing that to the gays?
We need to get back on track. So I've got two of my besties, two people that I would say are family. So one thing I've realized about the friendship fuck group is
I hate that name.
I know, I'm so sorry. And you're gonna hear it for at least
no, like you could say it.
I know, but you're really gonna hear it for at least the next 3 weeks, because Mardi Gras next week. We're going to Mardi Gras, so I'll talk about it next week. I'll probably talk about it the week after to recap on our Mardi Gras adventures. So you're gonna be hearing about it for at least the next 3 weeks. But one thing I've noticed about our group is that I'm actually the only Australian, if that makes sense, like in our group, because our group is almost so there's Bruno, he's Brazilian, Hugo, he's Brazilian, Lockie, who is Singaporean, and Assad's from New Zealand, but he's Afghani.
Okay.
So I like one of the girls in the group, Bruno. I wanted him on the podcast, but Bruno, you didn't want to be on the podcast. But no, Bruno's a very.
I love Bruno.
Yes, you know Bruno.
Why wouldn't you do it for me, Bruno?
I don't know why I did that. Bruno. That's so ugly.
Not you calling him out on the podcast.
I know.
Hundreds of thousands of people.
But so the thing, like, I really admire Bruno because Bruno makes the effort. Like, I guess there were like times where I would look at him and be like, why are you making so much effort, like, to be friends with this person? But then at the end of the day, like, Bruno has migrated here from Brazil, like, and so I do really admire him for making the effort to build that chosen family. And so Bruno is Brazilian, and it's really within their culture, like, you know, similar to Filipinos, similar to Mexican culture, to just be very heartwarming and very welcoming, and, you know, like Bruno says that Brazilians want to have those deep connections and they want to have those deep bonds. And, you know, he's the type of person that he's very big on that as well. So when he came to Australia, he found it difficult to, I guess, like, crack Australians, because I guess some Australians might not have that need for like deep warmth relationships and like deep friendships. So he found it difficult to crack that.
That's interesting to me, because I feel like Australians, from what I've experienced when I've traveled down there, is that they're all very warm and welcoming. And I guess, like, maybe you're seeing it, maybe it's a different perspective from your local standard versus an outside standard, because like, let me tell you, Australians compared to what I have going on over here, I'm like, ooh, y'all are rude over here. No, and then I go to Australia and I'm like, ooh, y'all are nice over here. Yes, I'm doing well. Yes, I would love to join you at the bar tonight.
Yeah. No, I'd like, say that Australians, Australians definitely are like, even when I was overseas, I can make friends with anyone. Like Australians are just very like that. But I guess in Bruno's experience, he found that Australians could, as easily as Australians could make friends, they can also break those friendships and leave those friendships. So, you know, like that was his experience. But at the end of the day, like he has found his group. He describes himself as the friendship Spider-Man because he's the one that joins together friendships. And like even last week I was in Melbourne and I stayed at Bruno's house and he introduced me to his friend Justin, and Justin and I just like literally clicked. Do you know what I mean? Because we're both Pisces girls. We're both like crazy. We're both
your birthday's like, coming up.
Pisces season. My birthday's coming up. But you know, like Bruno was telling me, like he would see the both of us and he'd be like so happy because two friends that he had made have like become friends, if that makes sense. And I guess like Bruno's experience is similar to what I've just said as well, which the majority of his friends are Latinos. Because I guess he relates to that warmth and that need to, I guess, have deep connections and like those family values and everything. Why are you making those faces?
Bruno, we know why you speak friends with the Latinos, okay?
hey. But yeah, the other story that, so I also asked Asad if he could be on the pod, but Asad, as I may have explained in a previous episode, Asad's time management skills aren't the best. And Asad's logged in right now because I can see him commenting on live video. Asad, I see you, girl. I'm about to read your story. And yes, we wanted you on the podcast, but I knew that you wouldn't be available at 9 a.m. So thank you for your story. I'm about to read it out.
Do it.
So yeah, Asad moved here from New Zealand. This is what Asad sent me. So he literally just wrote on the live chat on Instagram, wow, targeted. That's how Asad knows that I love him. Asad, that's how I know that you love it. Bruno's just joined into the chat. Bruno, I just shared your story. We love you guys. We love you. Friendship fuck. Friendship fuck. Friendship fuck. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to mute my microphone to cough, and then I'm going to read Asad's story. Right, let's do this.
Just in case y'all didn't know, Paul was going around on Sniffies and he's got this little just kidding.
No, I didn't. Not from Sniffies, girl. Not from Sniffies. I don't know where this cough has come from, but it is not.
That's exactly why it's from
Sniffies. No, it's
no. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, y'all. Paul is.
I don't know what Sniffies is.
Paul is at home without the M. Okay. Okay. So let's hear Asad's story.
This is Asad's story. All right. So moving to a new, unfamiliar place, near or far, can be pretty daunting. Some are better equipped for it than others, find their place and people more easily than others. Some can really struggle. For me, moving to another country was me really stepping outside of my comfort zone. I mean, Australia culturally is not too much different from New Zealand, so there is that. But leaving your family, friends, support system, everything you know is a challenge. It takes time to assimilate and integrate. I left at an incredibly important time in my life, right after high school. These formative years can be stressful enough at home and in familiar territory, but then starting all over again somewhere else. I can't even read right now. These formative years can be stressful enough at home and in familiar territory, but then starting all over again somewhere else, there definitely was anxiety. Then you factor in all the other things that come into it, like exiting my deeply suppressed and internalized homosexuality and, did that make sense? Exiting my deeply suppressed and it does. And finding myself on that front, transitioning into becoming a functioning adult. I don't know why I laughed. I'm so sorry, Asad. You are a functioning adult. Trying to get I'm really targeting you. I love you. You are one of my besties. Transitioning into being a functioning adult, trying to get my newly discovered gay self through uni and graduate. You need people. Which brings me to where I am today, surrounded by amazing people and friends who, dare I say, are closer family than my blood family have been throughout the years. Aww. There is a lot to I know. I have read this before. Why am I reacting for the first time when I've read this already?
Because it's different. We're in front of a live audience now.
Yeah. Oh, I love you, Assad. There is a lot to unpack and discuss when the concept of chosen family comes up. I feel chosen family comes through shared experiences, shared happiness, drama, sad times, trauma, catharsis, shared goals, and shared downfalls. Often we find people walking the same paths we are, and we bond over them. Sometimes people come and go also along the way, and that's perfectly acceptable. Some stick and persist through the years, and that family is cherished. To be loved is to be seen, and that's what family does. I have made so many good friends in Adelaide. Some have moved on to other places all over the world. The day ones and the family have never severed ties and are only ever a phone call away.
Oh.
Okay, so I just called me out. I've been calling him out all episode, and then he just calls me out. You're messing up my story.
Okay, girl. Well, come on and tell us the real one. Hold on, let me catch you in. Give me a second. Surprise, he's right here.
I think
that's
as well,
cute.
like,
I love that.
Yeah, it is cute.
And I've watched. Let me tell you. I've watched Assad be a friend to you, like in real time. Where were we at? Were we in Barcelona or we were in Madrid? Barcelona.
We were. You met us twice.
But it
was Barcelona. Barcelona.
I met you in Rome.
And you saw Assad there. So you met Assad in Barcelona, but you also saw him in Rome.
Yes. And I witnessed him being like just there for you in Barcelona. Like we had a little bit of a scare and we just had to make sure Paul was good. Make sure he didn't kidnap. All right. But Assad was like there, like just dropped everything he was doing.
Yeah. No, Assad really is. The other
came through.
The other day I posted this story because someone took a photo of last week we had Laneway, we saw Charlie XCX. It's Charlie, baby.
Yes.
Last weekend someone took this photo of me like fixing Assad's clothes. And I reposted it to my story and I put the caption as, when they ask you how many dependents you have, I just write Assad.
Wait, okay, another question about chosen family really quick. Has anyone ever confused any of your chosen family members as your significant other?
Oh, yeah, Assad. Literally Assad. So like in Rome, I got to know one of these rugby daddies. We had like a little and like he after the rugby tournament, he slid into my DMs and we had a few chats and everything. And then I thought I would play with it. I'm like, okay, is he flirting? I don't know. And so then I flirted back a little bit. I was like, oh, too bad like you and I didn't have a little kiss at the rugby tournament. And he literally said, why would we kiss? Like, you're with Assad. And I was like, my little smack on the table. Not Assad cock blocking me at a rugby tournament. So yeah, people at the rugby tournament literally thought Assad and I were together, and that's because he's my dependent. And I'm looking after him because I'm like, Assad, are you okay? Did you have a shower today? Have you eaten? Like,
did you have a shower? And did you look? Humby is my Assad. Like, there was a time where he and I were going to the gym every morning together, 5 a.m. because we lived in such close proximity to each other. Now we're about an hour away from each other, but we lived in such close proximity to each other that we left the gym one time and we used to call the girl at the front Selena because like her hair was always down and like she always just like kind of had this vibe. And so she was like, oh my God, like everybody's always asking, like, are you guys together? And we're like, girl, like, who's trying to get at us? Like, no one's trying to get at us. Like, we've been trying to get at everybody in this gym, and not a single person wants to get at us. And she's like, oh my God, no, everyone like, point them out. Who are they? And then she was like, well, they all don't want to like mess up you guys as a couple. We're like, we're not a couple. Like, every time we go somewhere, people think we're a couple. Or like most recently in Long Beach, he and I went out.
Can I just say, I don't know how, like, I haven't met Humby yet, like, in person, and I know that when I come to LA, the three of us, we're gonna fuck shit up. But if I see you,
can we go? to like? Can we
Yeah,
just
when I
take it
mean
slow?
like,
Can we go to like a comedy night and just listen?
no. When I mean like fuck shit up, like the three of us, we're just gonna be like whatever we do, it's gonna be a hoot. Like it's literally gonna be just
Absolutely.
a good fucking time. And I think that's when I swear, you know, because I'm so passionate and I'm like, fuck yeah. Sorry, I'm so sorry. That's the Aussie in me, just like swearing. But if I saw you and Humby together and those two fat asses in an Australian accent, those two fat asses. If I saw those two fat asses together, y'all are not a couple. Like a couple can't both have big asses.
They always think that I'm his boyfriend. Always. Like even we most recently met someone. We were out around Christmas. Like we try to do like a friendship thing, like you know, like every once in a while. Like mainly too, like around the holidays, we just do a friendship like one-on-one where we go hang out. It's just us two. Because life gets busy. We're both like working a lot now that I have multiple gigs. Like, you know, I'm here, like I'm in Hawaii now. We're filming the podcast. You know, like in a week, I'm gonna be hosting for Bingo Loco, like, and I'm gonna be traveling all over again. So he and I were out, and there's this guy named Jay, and he comes to our gym. Really cool, really nice. David, my neighbor, introduced me to Jay, and so Jay thought we were a couple, like me and Humby, and we're like, we're not a couple. He's like, because we were chilling in the house and like we came out and we saw David was with a group of friends, and so we came out and like introduced ourselves. He's like, oh my god, it was like the cutest thing. Like you guys came outside, you're all like dressed up, and we're like, we're not a couple, we're just friends.
We're not a couple.
He's like, really? Like everybody always thinks me and Humby are together, and I don't know what it is, because we don't touch each other. Like I'm not hanging on him. My arms are not around him. Like nothing. We're just like in the same area.
No, maybe it's literally the warmth, because I think about me and Leah. There are times where it's me and Leah and people think I'm Leah's boyfriend. And I'm literally wearing a sparkly crop top. Do you think Leah's boyfriend is wearing a sparkly crop top? No.
You know what? Leah's boyfriend could very much well be wearing a sparkly crop top. You'd be surprised how many gay-friendly metrosexual men there are in this world.
So Leah's boyfriend is the best. Like Leah's boyfriend Dale. Shout out to Dale. Leah's boyfriend Dale is this is gonna sound funny. Leah's boyfriend Dale is the typical white boy joining the family, like the Filipino family.
Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He loves Filipino culture, and he always like finds like funny Filipino videos, and he'll send it to me and be like, haha, Paul, like watch this. And so he literally finds a hoodie, and the hoodie says something, and he sends me the hoodie, and he goes, Paul, like, I reckon I'm going to buy this hoodie. It's so fucking cool. On the hoodie, it says bakla. And I'm like, Dale, do you know what bakla means? It means gay. Like, if you wear that hoodie, you're basically telling people you're gay in Tagalog. Like, so funny. I fucking love Dale. So, yeah, Dale will be wearing the bakla hoodie with his girlfriend next to him.
And we'll have one that says maricon, and we'll make it for him, too. He can have that one. Dale can have the maricon sweatshirt, too. We'll get him a maricon tank top to wear underneath the sweatshirt.
Oh my God, G'day Gay Podcast merch. Literally the word gay in every language.
Oh, I would love that.
Bakla, maricon, like everything.
Los Maricons by Good Day Gay Podcast.
Yes. Oh my God. Patent. I've just patented that. Don't steal my idea.
There's already, look, Elon Musk already stole it from us, so I might as well just let it go.
Yes. So let's throw it back to you. We are running out of time, but I'm gonna. I know we are running
out of time. But I just do want to say, like, if you don't have a chosen family is like a place that you need to just start from the ground, find that one friend, and you all find another friend that you can be your authentic self with, that's non-judging. And like, grant you, chosen family, you can very much well have arguments with chosen family, because you are
100%
like brothers and sisters. And let me tell you, when it hits the ceiling, Humby's only been mad at me one time, and I won't even tell that story on this podcast. That'll be another time. He was so mad. He was like, girl, I was so mad, I was already at home, blah blah blah. But like, we really don't Like it's okay to be that authentic with that person, because if you're on, here's the thing, this is the difference between chosen family and regular friends, right? So chosen family, you can say things to them, to your authentic self. You could say things that are inside thoughts that you just need to get out, that they might have to be like, yo, don't say that out loud. Like,
yeah,
you know, you shouldn't say that you shouldn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't say that you hope that a comet hits the earth. Okay, don't say that out loud. Just keep that in your inside voice. Don't manifest that, right? So those are the types of friends that you can say things to that can kind of bring you down to another level. A regular friend is someone that you have to keep your guard with, and that you don't trust sometimes too much, right? And those can interchange. Someone can go from a regular friend to chosen family. Someone can also go from chosen family, and then you realize they're going down to being just a regular friend, because, you know, they're letting secrets out. Like,
do you ever find yourself swapping? Like, say you're in a situation where, you know, you're at a party, you're at like brunch or whatever, and you're with your chosen family, and you're just like, like fucking going crazy, and then like an acquaintance might walk by, and you're like, hello, how are you today? Like,
I'm,
you know what I mean? Like,
hey, how are you?
Hey, how you going?
My smile gets a little different. My lip disappears a little bit more. I'm like, hey, how are you? When my friend's like, girl.
Yes, literally, that's me as well. Like, I'll literally be like, hey, how you going? And then I'll turn to my friends and I'll just be like, no, I'm not mean. Yep. I'm nice. I'm nice.
I don't even have to say anything. I'll just look and I'll be like, dead ass to one of my chosen family. And I'm like, you saw that, right? And then,
but that's the chosen family link. That's the link. Yep. You can give each other the look and you'll just be like.
Also, chosen family is trustworthy, right? Let's just put that out there. Chosen family is trustworthy, meaning they are not going to go spill your tea and start your secrets. Like, they're not going to do all 100%. That. So if you have a friend that's doing that, that's not a friend. That's someone. We talked about this toxic chef love. That is a toxic friendship. Get rid of them.
They're leave.
And you know what? Sometimes you don't.
Sorry, I was like, you don't even they're leave, and I just thought of JoJo.
Get out.
Sorry, let me just
right now.
Yeah, but instead of leave, you say leave. Get out. Leave right now, because
stupid. Oh my God,
I'm so sorry.
You're going on mute. You're in the penalty box. But that is our chosen family episode. It was fun, y'all. It was fun. It was a little bit more serious this time around. Less jokes, even though Paul did laugh at Assad and his story.
I think
but that's what friendships do. That's what family does.
Yeah, but the thing that I realized is that you and I, we love our chosen family so much that, like, this episode I feel is a tangent. This entire episode we've like just gone off on tangents, but that's how much we love our family. Like, that's how much we love you guys, that we'll go off on tangents, and we'll just ramble because we love you guys.
And let me tell you, like, 3 of my friends, like, it's funny because one of my friends specifically, we could just be on FaceTime and just like eating chips. Like, girl, what you doing? Like, eating chips. What you doing? Girl, I'm over here watching this television show. Just ignoring each other, but still on the phone at the same time, just because you have that company there.
That's you and I. That's you and
that's Marsha. Me and Marsha be doing that. You and I've done that a couple times.
We do that. We have done that a few times. Yeah.
Like, girl, what you doing? I'm sitting here. What you doing? Sitting here.
I love that he does. There's a guy on Instagram who does those reels.
Yeah,
you know, I think I sent it to you. The guy who's just like, girl, and then they like go back to like doing their thing. Like,
that is 100% me and Marsha all day, every day. Nar moment of the week, and I got that right this time. Okay, what is your Nar moment of the week?
I'm just gonna make it super fast. The no moment of the week is this cough. Like,
girl,
right now I'm actually just like, okay, there's only so much rest. Like, I have been resting, I have been sleeping, so tomorrow I'm going to the doctor and I'm gonna be like, fix me. Like, I don't know, I need to Dr. Google everything. I don't know. I'll let you guys know what happens at the doctor. You'll find out in the next episode.
Do you all have ChatGPT in Australia?
Yeah.
I know like legalities on certain things that aren't patent and like they're not, you know, like Peacock, I don't think is in Australia.
No, it's not. Here. It's not.
Okay.
I wonder if I could like cough into ChatGPT.
Like, no, girl, don't get her sick. We need her.
But no, I can do. Yeah.
Let me tell you this. No, what you can do is there was research done, and GPT's success rate of diagnosis after, because, and here's the reason why people tend to be more honest with ChatGPT than they are their doctor. So ChatGPT had a 75% chance of being correct, opposed to when you go see a physician, it was only 60.
Wow. Okay, so you're telling me
doctors.
Okay, so you're telling me then I'm gonna go to the doctor tomorrow, and he's gonna tell me what's wrong with me, and I'll be like, ChatGPT, do you agree? Do you agree?
Girl, you're supposed to go on ChatGPT now, and you're supposed to give them all of your diagnosis. Like, I have a cough. And then if you hooked up with somebody, then you say, I hooked up with somebody. If you didn't hook with somebody, then don't say that. If the cough had mucus, what color is the mucus? You put all of that in ChatGPT on you, all of your symptoms, and it'll tell, is it a chest cough? Is it a throat cough? Is it dry? Is it wet? Girl.
Look, on behalf of the Gay
Day,
on behalf of the Gay Day, on behalf of the G'day Gay podcast, this is not official medical advice.
100%.
Right. But that's my oh no moment of the week. This fucking cough. Tell me yours.
My oh no moment of the week is I discovered that there is a new STD. I don't have it. No. I don't have it. I don't have it. But let me tell you, I discovered, girl, because you sometimes just be Googling, and sometimes you're on Instagram or TikTok, and like people talk about these things, and TikTok is way beyond me. Okay, I'm finding out information on TikTok that I never would have found out. There is a new STD that is not talked about that goes around and is hard to cure. It is called MGen, and it is becoming increasingly common, but it's the most resistant to antibiotics because it's pretty much been dormant for so long.
Is a cough a symptom?
Huh?
Is coughing a symptom?
No.
Okay, good. Oh.
Abdominal pain is a symptom. Pelvic pain is a symptom. Pain during special time is a symptom. Pain while you're urinating. So basically, here's the thing. Basically, it has the same symptoms as
gonorrhea.
Yes, but it's not. So it's often mistreated with the wrong antibiotics because the antibiotics for gonorrhea are different than antibiotics for MGen, and it has to be taken like immediately as soon as you find out. Like they have to get, because if there's one small little strand that's resistant, then it can come back and do, like, you have to do rounds of antibiotics. So basically, my oh no moment of the week is that you already know that I'm a hypochondriac and I'm already scared of everything in the world, and like I don't want anything. So I've asked the doctor about the most random thing, like this part of my eyebrow fell out. What does that mean? And then probably just washed your face or scrubbed it too hard with the sugar scrub. And I'm like, are you sure? Okay, I just want to make sure that I didn't, have anything going on my eyebrow, that I wasn't gonna have one brow for the rest of my life. So the fact that I discovered that there's a new STD, I'm like, oh Lord, when you're dehydrated a little bit and it doesn't, sometimes you're, and you're like, that it's a little bit more acidic, right? When you're going to the restroom. So now me over here going to be like, now in the future, saying about like, is that MGen? Because look, there's already 100 things that I'm worried about. So my own moment of the week is I'm already scared of the world, and this is just added to the chaos.
And look, to close out this episode, on behalf of the G'day Gay podcast, Russ and I are not doctors. We might be gay, but we're not doctors. We're gay, we're not doctors.
And with that being said, drop us a comment. Tell us your chosen family and some of your funniest stories and your own moment of the week, because we love to not be on this boat alone. And we will see y'all next week.
Give us your own moments. Bye.
Bye.